Be really Sayreville's best team ever, but only if they finish things with that trophy. News 12's Brian DeNovellis getting ready with those Bombers.
The Sayreville Bombers are hoping this is finally their year.
We feel that we've been to the semifinals and we're ready to take the next step, and we're hoping this week is the next step.
Tomorrow at Rutgers, the Bombers will try to take that next step against Hillsborough in the Central Jersey Group 4 state championship.
They're going to come out running. They don't really pass that much, but we're confident that we can stop the option.
We're both running teams for that matter, and I think it's going to be imperative that both teams try to stop the other team from running the football, which they like to do the best.
I have confidence in our line that we can step up to the challenge and I wouldn't say manhandle, but I think we could hold our own against them.
So you think you can run the ball against this team?
Oh, definitely. I think we can run the ball against almost anybody.
The Bombers last won a state championship in '97. Since then, they've been to the semifinals the past 2 years. So for these seniors, this will be the biggest game of their lives. But there is one player who did play in that game as a freshman, Brandon Hoyt. In fact, he started and played the entire game at linebacker.
This is an excellent game, you know, something that you look forward to your whole season, your whole life, you know. This is my last game as a Bomber, and I'm making remember, and so is my other seniors.
Ever since the playoffs started, and even since the season started, all we've been thinking about is the 12th game, the championship game, the game that's eluded us for the last 2 years.
I think it's a big game for everybody. I think for the community, the school, and for the coaches and the players. And I think, you know, we're going to show that side of that.
Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. From Sayreville, Brian DeNovellis for Friday Night Football.
Yeah, Brent.
All right.
Great job of
good. Now we have a bad guy. All we have to do is look fun.
hustle up! First key, hustle up!
Let's kick some butt.
Well, they'll get the 15 yards and keep the drive alive with a first down, and they got to be happy about that call.
So after the pass interference, 1st and 10, Hillsborough, the ball on the 33-yard line. From the wishbone setting as the 4 defensive front, hand off to the fullback, Khalif Santiago, straight forward. Crosses the 35 to the 36-yard line.
What they're trying to do, of course, with Khalif running out of that fullback position, Khalif Santiago come up there, he'll pound in between the tackles 2 or 3 times, and they're looking to set up that option when they pull it out of the belly and then try and pitch to Phillips.
2nd and 6 after the gain of 4 by Santiago. Szymborski with a long count, hands off here to Phillips, who wants to bust outside, gets by 1, turns the corner, has a blocker at the 50-yard line, to the 40, down the sidelines and out of bounds near the 35-yard line. First down for Dan Phillips.
Well, the good backs have a way of taking advantage of errors on the other side. This time, as Phillips gets the football and he's going to go to the right side, he's going to look for the outside move, and then Darren Sinclair's going to come up right there. He has outside responsibility, number 22. Phillips gave him a little look to the inside, and then watch how he puts his shoulder on the wrong side instead of keeping that pressure outside, and that gives Phillips the big yardage downfield.
Went for 26 yards, 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line for Hillsborough on their opening drive. Hand off here, kind of just behind the guard on the left side. I believe that is Stephen Hess, the ball carrier. Carries for the first time today.
Doesn't get that many carries, but he does pretty good with it. He scored 7 touchdowns this year, as infrequently as his number is called relative to Phillips and Santiago.
George Najjar with a headset on in the middle of the screen, looking on as his defense has been a little bit here. 2nd and 8. Football at the 34-yard line. Smack dab in the middle of the field. Give it to Santiago, the fullback. Stop just shy of the 30-yard line.
Now, Mick, the coaches up in the up top where they're looking down, they're reading exactly what is happening defensively from Sayreville, and they'll run these plays so that they can make a determination whether or not the linebacker's going to be frozen, and if they want to make that fake and start running their outside game. They're really not worried about picking up more than 2 or 3 yards with that fullback play. It's a question of finding out what the defense does against this option series.
3rd and 5 at the 31-yard line. Now notice the corners are up tight. 6 men in the box, and the linebackers cheating up. Hand off here. Goes to the feature back. Phillips, first down or more at the 15-yard line. Well, we said Dan Phillips only needed about 90 yards for 1,000. He's going to get most of them this opening drive.
If you're going to bring that many guys up in the box, you better make the play right at the line of scrimmage, because if there's an initial block, it's going to free the line. Look at that. All they needed to do was go man on man. There was nobody left because everyone had come up and committed, and a good back like Phillips will take advantage of that.
Junior Jabby saved the touchdown. 1st and 10, 15-yard line for the Raiders of Hillsborough on our opening drive. Fullback dive straight forward across the 15 to the 13-yard line for Santiago.
A fullback like Santiago is so important in this offense. He'll get beat up by these guys up front, Mannion and Berardi, number 65, and Trzaskowski and Romiak, but he won't get many headlines maybe. He won't get too many accolades, but everybody on that field, particularly Phillips, knows how important Khalif Santiago is to him.
What an impressive drive for Szymborski, seeing his first action since the next to last game of the season. Here's the handoff, and across the 10-yard line and down to the 8 goes Dan Phillips, who is definitely a Division I prospect, and we're seeing why here. Remember, he's just a junior.
You know, we've only seen like 3 plays, right? And that's all you're going to see, maybe 3 to 5 plays in this club, and you'd think the offense or the defense could step in and handle it. But the problem is that everybody gets frozen because they can attack at any point along the line of scrimmage out of this formation.
3rd and 3, 11th play of the drive, and started back at the 14-yard line. Option, and the quarterback goes down in a heap in a hurry. Could not get away from Darren Sinclair on the offensive front line. Sinclair, the corner, came up and made the hit.
Well, put that one back in your hat and remember it, because had Szymborski not fallen, it would have been a touchdown all the way. Without this slip, there is no one on the outside at all, and they're going to have the quarterback and the trailing running back. He just trips up over the center's foot. That saved the touchdown. Sayreville got to be very happy about that trip.
4th and 4 from the 9-yard line, and they're not going to try a field goal. Going for the first down here is Hillsborough. 2-step drop, looking on the fade pattern. The ball is overthrown and incomplete. The intended receiver, the wideout Scott Robinson, and the defense holds. And the celebration by Jimmy Miller.
Well, that has to really wake them up at the very least, doesn't it? A long drive like that. Remember that it was perhaps a mistake when they took that kickoff, but now, because of this defensive play in the backfield, double coverage, free safety comes over and helps out Jimmy Miller, number 14 there, along with Junior Jabby.
Was a little bit of a hand on him, but the ball was uncatchable. Brandon Hoyt's the quarterback, a 4-year starter, already given a verbal commitment to Notre Dame, most likely as a linebacker, and a one-back set behind him. Now they switch to a pro set. 1st and 10, 9-yard line for Sayreville, and the handoff going to go straight forward to the 10-yard line.
Whew, did you see the pulling guards, huh? Unbelievable. You get those big guys out in front of you, and things are going to look good for the running back.
Brandon Hoyt, as we mentioned, is the starter. Pretty good season. 38 for 59, 4 touchdowns and just 1 interception. They don't throw the ball that much, but when they do, they've been very effective. So after the run, call it 2nd and 7. The ball at the 12-yard line, and there's a whistle on the snap.
The infamous dead ball foul.
Looks like offside against the offense. John Fersmiller with the call.
Dead ball, encroachment on the offense, 2nd down.
So it's stays a second down. Junior Jabby, Ben Isabella, Jimmy Miller, Tom Cassidy, and Jason Romiak at the skill positions. Mike Scherzuski, Mike Lee, Frank Mastrangelo, Bobby Berardi, and James Mannion start up front for Sayreville. Second down and 12 at the 7-yard line after the penalty. Handoff on a straight blast right up the middle. Jimmy Miller carries the football. So after the run, let's give you the starting defense here for Hillsborough this morning. Jeff Kelly, Bill Amerman, Steve Papaduke, and Nick Boyle are up front. The linebackers, Khalif Santiago, Greg Halsen, and Don Short. And in the secondary, Chris Malloy, Matt Campbell, Dan Phillips, and Scott Robinson. A lot of two-way players for Hillsborough. So after the run by Miller, 3rd and 8 at the 11-yard line. Plays slow to develop. The quarterback on a keep it. Hit hard and going down short of the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it was run all the way. Hoyt really was never going to throw that football. Put it up in the air to try and drop everybody back from the secondary, but Hoyt had no question about it all. This is a run all the way. Gets to see it, puts it away immediately, gets his running backs out in front of him. Jim Miller, number 14, trying to get a block. That never really happens. So they're going to be forced to punt here.
Remember, it's always difficult when the quarterback is the punter. Brandon Hoyt does so many things. Looking at a 4th and 5 here at the 14-yard line. And of course, you have Phillips ready to receive the kick. Low snap, handled nicely by the quarterback. And he punts it away. It'll be caught at the 44-yard line, and going across the 35 to the 34 is Phillips. So Dan Phillips on the return, sitting up great field position when we come back. 5:02 to go in the opening quarter. We are scoreless in this Group 4 Central Jersey Championship game.
Everyone has a dream.
The holidays. New Jersey Lottery knows they're a time of joy, a time to give thanks, and a time when you have absolutely no time to shop. So now there's holiday gift packs. 6 instant New Jersey Lottery tickets in a holiday pack with a chance to win up to $20,000. 6 tickets, now just $5. Holiday gift packs, wherever New Jersey Lottery tickets are sold. For friends, family, even you.
Welcome back. First quarter action, 5:02 to go. Second possession for Hillsborough in a scoreless ball game, but a great start on the Sayreville 33-yard line. From the wishbone, handoff here goes to Dan Phillips, tries to cut back inside and finds nothing there at all. Mike Worthington, the linebacker, stepped in and closed the hole.
Yeah, a little better field position this time. Last drive, they did not, of course, get anything out of it, but they went 77 yards. They had a long way to go, and ultimately self-destructed at the end. But now, starting here at the 34, they can use every play in the playbook. This should help them.
So on 2nd and 9, a football at the 32-yard line.
That move to the right side with Phillips is open again if they choose to go in that direction. Now this unbalanced line this time.
Fake to the fullback, going to throw to Phillips out of the backfield, draws double coverage. It's a good thing he didn't catch it. It would have been thrown for a loss. It's incomplete.
Well, they went unbalanced. They've done that around 3 times now, and they were hoping that the defensive backfield would just rotate to the far side, and that would leave Phillips open coming out into this flat. But the defensive backs did not bite at all. It was as if one of the guys was playing spy on Phillips, so he was there, and then the defensive halfback was the secondary coverage.
3rd and 9 after the incomplete pass. You saw Kenny Smith, like you say, he was spying, but that's a pretty good way to cover Phillips. Szymborski's under center. Phillips goes in motion with a single setback. Fake to the fullback. Here comes the throw to the far sideline. Almost complete, but it goes off the hands of Scott Robinson, as it's the 3rd time today they tried to throw to Robinson.
Robinson has that good speed, but more importantly, looks like he runs pretty good patterns. Excellent defense. The only thing that keeps this from being a touchdown. Look at this. Look at this pattern run by Robinson right to the pylon. That's where the ball's supposed to be. But with that defense by Junior Jabby, everything goes for naught. Ball is delivered, receiver is there, but more importantly, the defender is right on top of it.
4th and 9, 32-yard line. Hillsborough with a single setback, going to go for it. 2 wideouts go to the right against the 4-man front. Szymborski, 3-step drop, pumps once, throws the out pattern, and overthrew Scott Robinson by about 20 yards. It's incomplete. So we've seen Hillsborough go for the first down on 4th down twice, and both times they've misfired.
Well, Szymborski has got to get some of that rust off that arm and off that shoulder, huh? He'll shake it off, and they're fortunate they've had the good field position so far, so they haven't gotten hurt as a result. They just have been unable to score. He is, as you can see, not the way he wanted to start this ball game. 0 for 5.
Yeah, but the one thing that is positive, he's stretching the defense a little bit. Then I'll give Phillips more running room. First and 10, 32-yard line, a little reverse fake. And the handoff goes to Junior Jabby, but it didn't fool anybody. They tried to spring Junior Jabby going from right to left.
Well, if they're going to do it, you better get Greg Halsen to bite, and Halsen did not bite at all. Played his position perfectly. You're going to go with the double movement, and look at Halsen just holding right where he's supposed to be. They tried to come back and trap him. Didn't happen, as he just turned, got his shoulder down, and read the play coming back. Outstanding defensive play.
He's just a junior. 2nd and 11, 31-yard line. Handoff here. Goes off tackle to the right side. Second effort. Not going to be good enough for Darren Sinclair, who has stood up. Well, we have seen Hillsborough's defense really making some heavy hits here early.
And particularly on that play, because they had gotten their pulling guard, Mike Lee, into the hole at the point of attack. You'll take a look. Watch here how they, right in front, number 60, Mike Lee is there, and yet they still are in to make that hit, and nothing going there at all. No yardage possible if your linebackers are going to fill that well.
Kubiak in on the tackle. Getting a chance to play both ways today, not usually on the defensive side of the football. Man in motion on 3rd down, pump fake. Hoyt pumps again. Now throws the deep ball, and it is overthrown, incomplete. Jabby, the intended receiver. Dan Phillips was defending on the play.
Tried to run the out and up with Jabby. Hoyt is going to use a little pump fake to try and pull the defender. That time would be Scott Robinson playing defense, and along with Dan Phillips out there defensively. But if you don't bite, watch the little pump, boop, right there with a little pump, and the reaction from the defensive player never gave in at all. In fact, had the best shot at it. Dan Phillips did, a possible interception.
Better snap this time for Hoyt as his kick is away, gets away a boomer. It's going to drive Phillips all the way back to the 22-yard line. Takes his time, makes one move, and crosses the 35 up to the 37-yard line. Decent return by Phillips, who did a nice job of really taking his time finding the hole.
Let me tell you, that was called Mr. Nonchalant, wasn't it? He got the ball, stood there for a minute as if he had a fair catch, what he didn't. And then he just takes a look. Watch, he says, where do I think I'll go here? Well, I can go to the right, I can go to the left. I think I'll go straight ahead. Then he's going to make that one move, another move, and then get what he can get out of it, which is what every special teams coach tells you. Get upfield, get as much distance as you can, hope you read daylight, and then turn on the after jets.
Phillips, who plays just about every down, comes out of the ball game for a brief rest. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Handoff goes to Khalif Santiago, trying to turn the corner, and stood up and going nowhere as he got to the 41-yard line.
Notice how quickly Hoyt was able to get there from a middle linebacking spot. When you have a middle linebacker, number 20 right there, who can go from the left side to the right side instead of tackle to tackle, which is where generally you'll find the middle linebackers. This time he gets to the outside with the good speed, great reaction, and I think that's what Notre Dame liked.
I think so. 2nd down here. Scoreless ball game, 1:57 to go in the opening quarter. Give to the fullback, and leading forward is Greg Hausen. Only his 31st carry of the year. Hausen does have 2 touchdowns, but used pretty much as a backup. Bobby Berardi was there for the tackle.
Yeah, you have the feeling, do you not, that Zaborski is going to have to throw the ball.
Well, you would think. The wide out at the top of the screen is Scott Robinson. 3rd down coming up here on a 3rd and 6.
They're sliding out and giving double coverage now to Robinson, which is probably a good thing.
On a ball tipped by the defensive end, Jason Romiak, who knocked it down, and it's incomplete.
Interesting with the double coverage that time. I think it might have been read by Robinson also. Went down and just turned. Defensive players, you can't get to the quarterback, at least get your hands up in the air, and it was perfectly done that time. Romiak, just the way they coach him. Can't get in deep, get the hands up.
Dan Phillips will come on to kick the football away. You see number 2, Junior Jabby, with all kind of speed deep for the return. It's a short kick. It'll bounce and take a Hillsborough roll. It's going to be downed. Finally picked up now. Wow, that's a dangerous play. And that was Ben Isabella picking the ball up before it was going to be down.
Well, he took a look, didn't he, and thought everybody just got relaxed and said, here's a shot at it. I can get at it pretty easily. Ball just, look, everybody just, we'll walk away. Boop, pick it up and go. And he took a shot. and fortunately for him, did not make an error out of it. Imagine if he gets hit, fumbles, and loses the football there.
See, when you're a senior who's been played in big games, you can do that kind of.
He might have thought one of the Hillsborough players downed it. If you just touch the ball and don't bring it to a stop, the receiving team can pick it up, and they can go with it, and even if they fumble or whatever, they still get it at the point where it was touched. So unless the ball comes to a dead spot, he may have believed that it had been temporarily downed, if you will.
Well, 1st and 10, a little more conventional carry for Isabella right now as he crosses the 40-yard line to the 41.
Well, Hillsborough's had their way with them today so far, have they not? 82 yards, total yards to Sayreville's 10.
2nd and 6 at the 41-yard line for Brandon Hoyt, who is under center. Play action fake, rolls to his right, breaking down, and he's going to be sacked. The first hit by Jeff Kelly, the defensive end, the emotional leader of the team. And teammates finish him off.
Yeah, Kelly's not going to get the sack. He's got 2 on the season so far, but he's the one that caused it because he just got in there and fought off the blocker. And they had pulled real nice. They get Mike Lee out here, number 60, look, as a personal protector. But great defensive play by Kelly to shuck off 2 blockers, and that allowed the other 3 guys to get there and take the quarterback Hoyt down. Team defense that time, you saw.
Played perfectly. Loss on the play. 3rd and 13, as we'll come back for the second quarter in a moment. Sayreville brought a lot of fans to see their team as they are undefeated, but so far, goose eggs on the scoreboard. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Everyone has a dream.
The holidays. New Jersey Lottery knows they're a time of joy, a time to give thanks, and a time when you have absolutely no time to shop. So now there's holiday gift packs. 6 instant New Jersey Lottery tickets and a holiday pack with a chance to win up to $20,000. 6 tickets, now just $5. Holiday gift packs, wherever New Jersey Lottery tickets are sold. For friends, family, even you.
Welcome back here to Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, ready for the start of the second quarter of a scoreless ball game between Hillsborough and Sayreville. And a handoff here going forward, and the Hillsborough defense has really stiffened as we now get into the second quarter.
Yeah, Greg Hawson back in there that time from the linebacker spot. That defensive line of Papadick and Boyle and Ammerman and Kelly really just defeating their blockers and holding their territory and allowing the linebackers then to come free, and that's what allowed Halson's name, number 30, to be called so many times so far this morning.
Only a gain of 2 for Sinclair. Sets up a 4th and 11. Punt team is on. Hoyt back in punt formation. Good snap here, good protection. And here is a kick that will bounce away from Dan Phillips and go out of bounds at the 29-yard line. So not really a bad kick for Brandon Hoyt, as now he stays on the field and takes his linebacker spot. Rick Mantz seeing his team on a nice 77-yard drive on the very first possession, got down to the 9-yard line but could not punch it in.
Looks like he's wondering why he didn't bring that heavy parka, huh? Looks a little chilly over there, doesn't he?
You're absolutely right. It's only 32 degrees here. 1st and 10, 29-yard line for Hillsborough. Phillips goes in motion. They run option. The quarterback keeps it. And a nice gain across the 35 to the 36-yard line by Steve Zimborski.
Remember we talked about this play 2 series ago where they were ready to run it and the quarterback slipped, if you recall, and we said it was wide open. Well, it was wide open again, but tell you what, credit Zimborski with keeping the football, even though I think if he pitched, they might have got some more. Take a look here. He could have done it either way because they just didn't have the outside support that they needed in order to stop this option. So we knew that they would see it upstairs. We knew they would come right back to it as quickly as they could.
2nd and 3 at the 36-yard line for the Raiders. Handoff fake, then the quarterback going down as they run option left, and this time all over him.
Now you got to wonder, why do you run that play to the short side? They were expecting that they would see a defensive adjustment from Sayreville, who would rotate away from that short side, and they would therefore have the same setup for the option, but it did not appear that Berardi was going to take the bait and move, and as a result, he was right there.
Didn't really get a good block on Berardi either.
Well, you know, you're optioning him.
3rd and 4 at the 35-yard line. Phillips comes in motion to the near side, pump once, and throw on the deep out, complete out of the backfield. backfield. Hess makes the catch, still in bounds, and finally knocked out at the 29-yard line. Stephen Hess, only his second reception of the season, but it goes for the big yardage and a first down.
Was that read perfectly by quarterback Szymborski? Let me tell you, he comes out as if he's going to come into the flat. He'll just come out, turn right. Look, see him at the bottom of the screen. Turns into the flat, and then he turns up as soon as he gets the defender to bite. And he turns up, and he got between both the short defender and the guy that's got deep coverage. That is an outstanding run pattern and a beautifully delivered football.
36 yards on the pass reception to Stephen Hess. First and 10, 29-yard line, and the first flag of the day thrown at the Hillsborough offense.
Yeah, Eric Westphal, number 92, tried to get a quick start. Not allowed to do that. But I'll tell you, this is so well run, this previous play. Right out of the backfield, and then after you get your man to bite in the flat, turn upfield, and you'll see it right there.
Good recognition by the quarterback Szymborski, because Hess has not been drawing double coverage as the way they've been double covering Scott Robinson. First and 15 after the penalty. The ball back at the 34-yard line. Option to the left, cutting it back inside as the quarterback found a little seam, and Szymborski carries the football down to the 31-yard line.
Very, very important for a quarterback. If you're going to run option, you got to be able to read real well. And it's nothing but 3 keys, starting with the first one. He's going to read whether or not he wants to just turn right upfield immediately, if he wants to carry it out further and then turn, or if he wants to ultimately pitch. That time, again, I think the pitch was wide open. They are not getting the outside support. Look at to the wing back on the left side. Oh, all they got to do is kick back here. They've got all kinds of blocks.
Play action fake. Szymborski wants to throw. Has Phillips, but overthrew him. He was wide open at the 20-yard line on a big cushion, but it's incomplete.
That's what I was talking about. They did not have enough defenders over in that area, and as a result, I think Phillips saw that also and went right to the seam. You can see it. There's just not enough help on that left side here offensively, and Phillips saw the opening. He went into the seam, and I don't think that's where the pattern was called. As a result, Szymborski had to make the adjustment and didn't.
Offensive plays in Hillsborough's favor. They have had the football and made the most of their advantage, but still a scoreless ball game here with 9 minutes to go before halftime.
And that's the key. If you're going to have the ball that much, you better get some points out of it, because it's just the pendulum isn't going to swing that way for the whole ball game.
3rd and 7 at the 31-yard line. Back to throw. Szymborski hit as he let it go, and a catch made at the 15-yard line. That is Scott Robinson. Robinson gets his first catch of the day, and it's good enough for a Hillsborough first down.
Quarterbacks must have courage. Szymborski has to feel everybody coming, and even though he feels them coming, he has to wait until it's time to deliver the ball, take the hit at it, and you saw it right there from Berardi, and he gets it downfield. Phillips makes an outstanding catch between 2 defenders, gets the football, and advances it to first down territory.
Robinson's first catch, good for 15 yards. First and 10, 16-yard line. Here comes Dan Phillips trying to turn the corner, takes on 2, upended, and there he goes at the 10-yard line.
Well, in a sense, you got to credit Scott Robinson that time. Not for doing anything. In fact, that's what you credit him for out here. The defenders, Junior Jabby, one of them, actually beat Robinson to the point where he couldn't make a block. And that's why Phillips was left defenseless out there against the 2 defenders who were coming in to make the stop. But Robinson gets credit for not doing anything, because it would have been an illegal block, a clip, something of that nature.
7 carries for 60 yards so far for Dan Phillips. Here is a 2nd and 4 at the 10-yard line, and once again, 10-yard line or less. Fake to the fullback, pitch to Hausen. Ooh, what a hit as he's down at the 8-yard line. Hausen got leveled by Tom Cassidy. Well, let's listen in to a big-time hit coming up from Tom Cassidy.
Oh my goodness.
It's safer up here.
Yes, yes.
3rd and 2. The football at the 8-yard line, and this time the football comes loose, and it looks like Sayreville has it. No, they say Hillsborough retains possession inside the 5 and about the 3.
Yeah, Hillsborough's got to be very happy about this. Looks like it could have been another drive resulting in no points. But watch as the hit. See if the helmet gets to the football. Right there, and the shoulder comes in.
They just stripped it out.
Yep.
Khalif Santiago falls on the fumble from Stephen Hess. Sets up a 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. See if we're in fullback territory here. No, the give to Phillips, stood up by Hoyt and dropped at the 6-yard line.
I don't know what came flying off him, but it looked like a mouthpiece came flying out or something. That'll tell you just how hard he was hit. You don't get one much more stirring a shoulder into a runner than that one. Hoyt just reads it perfectly, fills the hole, bang, look at that mouthpiece come flying, and looks like a heavyweight fight, huh? Going to be a big one on Comcast Saturday night, right?
I think so, but I'll tell you what, Brandon Hoyt on his way to Notre Dame.
Yep.
Get playing time as a freshman to hit like that. Second and goal at the 6-yard line. Hillsborough trying to break this scoreless tie in the second quarter. Handoff goes to Hess, stood up, second effort, goes forward to about the 3. Hess fumbled, so you get the football right back in his hands and get him some confidence.
Yeah, you get it back to him, but on the other hand, there, I don't know why they're running inside with Hoyt being able to move left to right the way he's been doing. Remember, he gets to the outside. And look at him coming on that previous play where he fills the hole. That's what a linebacker does. He reads it, he sees the opening, the same as the running back does, and he fills the hole.
Wishbone, 3rd and goal to 3 for Hillsborough. Here comes Hess, straight forward, still going to the goal line, touchdown. Well, they went power on power, and Stephen Hess got the call, and he has his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. Hillsborough strikes first. They lead it 6-0.
You know, I was wondering, what are you doing running Hess every play? How come we're not seeing Phillips? Well, I think Hess just showed us why, didn't he? The reason he was running, because he had that power and he would not give up.
Looks like the extra point coming up here. Chris Malloy is on to kick it. The placement down, the left-footed kicker's boot is on the way, and this one is good. Malloy nails the extra point.
You know how important that was for Hillsborough to get those points. They could not afford, I don't think mentally, to get down near the end zone again and come away without any points. They've been dominating the game in terms of ball control, but they weren't getting anything out of it. Look at the blockers from the backfield get in front, but it's still got to be the driving legs of Steve Hess to get the touchdown. This is all effort from the big guy in the backfield, and even Hoyt is being driven back right that time by what a tremendous block being thrown on him.
Well, you try to double team Hoyt as much as you can. And a good finish by Jeff Kelly on the offensive front to knock him out of the way, enabling Hess to get into the end zone for the 8th time this season. 6:06 to go here in this first half, and Hillsborough leading at 7-0. 71 yards in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Another great 12-play drive. And notice 4 for 4 in third down conversions so far for Hillsborough. They're making an offensive statement. Malloy with a pretty good leg.
Yeah, by virtue now of controlling the football the way they have and getting on the scoreboard on top, they now say, well, the coach has been telling us and we've been convincing ourselves we can play with this undefeated team.
Jimmy Miller and Junior Jabby are deep for the kick. They want the ball in Jabby's hands. He's the speedster. 7-0 Hillsborough. That touchdown very big, and I'll tell you why after the kick. From a confidence standpoint.
Yep.
Here's the kick by Malloy, end over end. Jabby will take it at the 8-yard line, going straight forward and tracked down at the 22. Good play on special teams.
Yeah, Matt Campbell showed some speed why he plays in the defensive backfield. He was able to react so well because he had his position covered, then saw the movement was going to go away from him and just turned to the inside and with the great speed got there and stopped him at the 23.
Sayreville was only giving up 6 points a ball game all season. They cut it to just 3 points allowed in the playoffs so far. So to give up 7 here in this first half, that's monumental for Hillsborough.
And they can't get any rhythm going, can they?
No.
Offensively.
1st and 10, 23-yard line. The ball is on the ground, and the Raiders have it.
Well, this is not going to help their confidence at all. This is not going to help their rhythm at all. This is going to only benefit Hillsborough.
Dan Phillips with a fumble recovery. And another look at the heavy hit.
What a super job done, huh? They just closed it down on the inside the way they've been doing all ball game long. And then Phillips shows up and gets on top of the football for the recovery.
So Worthington gets his first carry, and he's hit and fumbles the football, and it's 1st and 10 the other way. We have a timeout. We'll take one as well. 5:53 to go in the first half. 7-0, Hillsborough over Sayreville.
Most of the time when you sit in front of your TV, you do two things. You watch, you listen. But It's Your Call on CN8 takes TV a lot further. We take the day's top stories and turn them over to you. You call in, you question, you challenge, you get involved. And that's when the fun begins, because now you can talk back to your TV. But remember, we can talk back to you.
It's Your Call with Lynn Doyle, weeknights at 8 on CN8. Lynn Doyle, she talks back.
Welcome back here to Rutgers. 7-0 Hillsborough, and they have the football back. 1st and 10 in great field position on the Sayreville 27-yard line.
Look at this time of possession. 12:33 Hillsborough to 5:32 for Sayreville.
Here's a halfback option pass going deep, but the ball is incomplete. Could have had pass interference on the offense by Scott Robinson as the football was thrown downfield by Dan Phillips.
And it's a good thing Phillips is not used to throwing the football as far as Sayreville comes, because Steve Hess, number 39, will be open right down the middle, and instead Phillips chooses to go to Robinson, who the play was designed to go to. He's their big-time receiver, and you're right, could have been offensive interference. But look over to the middle, you'll see him. There he is, the guy I'm talking about. He had been clear, and that defender had just shown up, Jimmy Miller, at the last moment.
2nd and 10, 27-yard line. Somehow the quarterback gets away, Zimborski, and cuts it back inside to the 25-yard line.
Mike Worthington did an outstanding job that time of disrupting that play. Got there in a hurry, and I'm not sure how Zimborski even got away from him.
So Zimborski carries for about 3. It'll set up 3rd and 7.
The key, you know, when you get turnovers is try to get some points out of it. The interesting thing is that Sayreville is a team that usually gets points out of turnovers. They've scored 5 defensive touchdowns this season. Now they've given Hillsborough an opportunity.
You see the 3rd down conversions here, and this play not going for much, so it sets up a 4th down coming up after the carry by Khalif Santiago. Brandon Hoyt was in on the stop.
Well, bringing the ball over to the right side. Time for the quarterback to sprint to the left, maybe off a fake into the line, and then drop back and get a lot of running room over there, pass-run option.
It's a little too far for a field goal.
Yep.
Malloy's range is only about 29 yards.
He's had 4 this year.
Yeah, all within that 20 to 29-yard range, though. So 4th and 5 at the 22-yard line for Hillsborough. Man in motion is Hess. Fake to the fullback, but nobody there. Here comes the linebacker, and Brandon Hoyt has the quarterback sack on Steve Zimborski.
You know, so many plays are usually predictable. You get the ball near the hash mark, as I had pointed out, and on a 4th down and long, you're going to run some kind of pass-run option, which means you want your quarterback moving. When you get a veteran player like Brandon Hoyt, he is going to read it and just come right through the opening. He sees it, anticipated the play, took advantage of it, found an opening, made the sack. And that is his 6th sack of the season.
Mike, probably the biggest defensive stand of the game so far, because after the fumble, you could have been looking at, you know, a major difference in the score, but it only stays with 7-point differential. The handoff goes straight forward to the fullback.
Nick Boyle, huh?
Isabella, and Boyle's all over him.
Boyle just comes in there. He's had 33 tackles unassisted coming into the ball game. Got nice size, 6 foot, 245. You know, we've been seeing him this year, 270 up to 325. But when you're only 6 foot, you want to use your size down near the ground like that. Boyle does it beautifully. Don't want to get too heavy if you're only going to be 6 foot tall.
So after the handoff for no gain, 2nd and 10 at the 30-yard line. Here comes the deep toss to Javi, and Junior Javi trying to turn the corner and track down Bill Amerman. Caught him from behind and knocked him out, along with help from Jeff Kelly.
On this quick toss, you try to pull your tackle instead of your guard and get him out in front. But the defense will have no part of it all, as Mannion was the man that was going to try and throw a block downfield, and just didn't happen, did it?
No, it didn't. Jeff Kelly, the emotional leader of this team. And you can see he kind of turned up the heat on that one.
Now, there's a play you run off of that. When you see a reaction, when you pull your tackle, if the defensive end moves with him, then you just bring the ball back down and have somebody run into that vacated hole.
Javi in motion on 3rd and 10. Brandon Hoyt rolls, wants to throw back, and a pump fake now takes off up the middle. Crosses the 30, 35, 40-yard line. Has enough for a Sayreville first down on a busted play. And it looks like we have an injured Hillsborough player back at about the 25-yard line. But a nice run by Brandon Hoyt.
Tell you what, credit him too, as we see Dan Short here. And he is one of the leading tackles, 65 tackles on the season. But credit Hoyt here with a veteran play. Moving to the left, turning, stop, wants to throw a screen back to the right. He sees that the screen is covered, however, so he immediately takes off to try and get upfield. He knows that people moved one way to cover as he was rolling. He knew they had moved the other way where the screen was covered, and he therefore knew the middle was open.
Mike, just the first down of the day for Sayreville.
Hard to believe. What's their record coming in?
11-0.
No, and only one first down.
Yeah, we have 3:18 to go in the first half. Backs at a pro step, two-step drop, quick toss, incomplete.
Kelly got his hand up again and disrupted it, I think.
He was looking for Darren Sinclair, the intended receiver, who, by my recollection, does not have a catch this year. So they're really trying to change things up right now.
You know, most important thing for this Sayreville club, I think, is to get through the next 3:14 and to the locker room without any score by Hillsborough.
Absolutely.
If they score, fine. But more importantly, you're just going to be happy to get in and make some adjustments. This is not what they have seen all year long.
2nd and 10, the football on the 41-yard line. Man in motion is Darren Sinclair. 3-step drop and a quick look in, complete. Junior Jabby, or rather Derek Pugh, makes the catch right at midfield. He'll be a yard shy of a first down.
Did not get the spot that he wanted, but I tell you what, I like Hoyt, who I don't think is a natural quarterback, guys, but he's such a fine athlete that he's able to play that position and looks downfield, hits his receiver, and just came up shy.
Hillsborough dominating in total yards with the drive here. 3rd and 1 at the 49-yard line for Sayreville. Time winding down, 2:37. The handoff goes to Isabella. Stood up, and Isabella will not have the first down. By the looks of the spot coming up here, he's still going to be about a half-yard shy.
Again, you know, when we talked about recognition from a scouting report, you pretty much know short yardage situations. They bring the man back in motion. He's going to try and get into the off-tackle hole on the opposite side to get the yard or two that he needs. As a result, linebackers are looking for it, and they're stuffing the play at the point of attack.
Rick Mance calls the defensive fronts. 4th and 1 at the 49-yard line. Backs in a pro set, 2 wide, and a quarterback sneak. Hoyt will have the first down this time as he keeps it himself. Now, Hoyt kind of reminds me of Andrew Conforti, who was a linebacker playing quarterback for Hunterdon Central, who basically is a real muscular kind of guy. May not be your best passer, but he can get the job done in the short yardage situation.
You see the play that time, and watch your center, Mastronero, who of course is going to take whatever defenders there either way, and then Hoyt has to read it and go the opposite direction.
1st and 10, football at the 48-yard line. 2-step drop, quick look, that ball batted up and intercepted. Kelly picked it off. I think Kelly's the guy who tipped it, then makes the catch himself, and Jeff Kelly with the deflection and the interception.
That's at least his 2nd, maybe his 3rd tip. And I guess after the other 1 or 2, he said, hey, if I'm going to tip him up in the air, I'm going to look for him and try to get the interception. And Kelly comes up with it here, uses all that 6'3" and the long reach, get the arms up. And this is not the play that Hoyt had expected when he dropped back to throw it. Watch, coming from the top of your screen, 71. Hands up in the air, knock it up with the right hand, turn around, find the football, and get downfield. This guy, emotional leader, well, he just did it physically on the field too.
1st and 10, 44-yard line, 2nd turnover of the game, and here's the deep toss to Khalif Santiago, turns the corner, 35, has a blocker, 30, and down at the 20-yard line, Khalif Santiago, a Hillsborough first down.
Didn't he read that beautifully when he got downfield and found the block by Scott Robinson, set it up perfectly. Robinson wound up taking his man to the outside, and Santiago turned back to the inside. Mance loved that play, didn't he? Here's the toss. Now look, he's got to read the downfield block. He gets the first one from Hess. Now there's Robinson. Sets it up perfectly as Robinson turns him back to the outside, and that means he's going to come inside to get additional 5 to 7 yards.
Santiago, 9 carries, 81 yards. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line for Hillsborough. Here's the toss to Santiago, has the corner, gets to the 15, spins off the tackle, and down to the 13-yard line goes Khalif.
Using the blockers in the backfield beautifully. Tell you what, it's not that often that everybody in the backfield seems to be able to throw a block, but Hess and then Phillips were the key to this one. As you watch, first you're going to have right there, see it? There's Hess block. Then here is Phillips out here. Maybe a little illegal, but I think the defender turned and helped him right at the last second so that he got him from the side instead of the back.
We have a timeout. 59 seconds ago. Can Hillsborough punch one in and increase their lead? Stay with us. We'll find out in a moment.
America has a birthplace, a proud city where the ghosts of its founders still roam freely through the streets and buildings they built themselves. Watch your kids' eyes as they first see the Liberty Bell. Walk through Independence Hall. Stand at Valley Forge at sunset. Then go see a game at Veterans Stadium. See if our national anthem doesn't sound much sweeter that day. That's my Philadelphia. I'm Ken Burns.
Welcome back. Hillsborough on the march. They lead it 7-0 inside the final minute of play in the first half, but they have the football on the 13-yard line in Sayreville territory. And Mike, we have seen not only Phillips come to the forefront, Hess has one touchdown, and now the fullback, Khalif Santiago, gets involved as well. So 3 quality backs here for Hillsborough.
Yeah, the last drive, of course, was Hess to finally get into the end zone and get the 7 points. This drive has been Santiago. Early in the game, we were watching Phillips get most of the attention.
I'll tell you, if Hillsborough scores here, I think you're got a upset in the making, big time. Szymborski, long count under center, fake toss. Here is Hess up the middle and tripped up just shy of the 5-yard line.
Isn't that an interesting play? Came with trips to the near side to force everybody to rotate defensively. We should be able to see it up here. Everybody is rotated, so they come back on this counter play to the inside, and only that defensive player that reached up and grabbed him kept him from scoring.
Throw to the end zone and throw it away as Dan Phillips, the intended receiver. And that's a good play by the quarterback. That's why you want the senior in here today. Steve Szymborski just unloaded, had nothing, get rid of it.
You know, it's an emotional thing anyway to get him back as his leader. The quarterback's almost always the leader on the team offensively, and for him to get back into the ball game, they probably told the team they weren't sure if he was going to play or not, and then bang, they give him that start right at the beginning, and it just jacks everybody up just another notch.
All the assistant coaches for Hillsborough were mum about the start by Szymborski today. 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line after the incomplete pass. Khalif Santiago, the lone back man in motion. Here comes an option toss to Phillips. Has nobody ahead of him to the end zone. Touchdown! Phillips, his 15th rushing touchdown of the season. Total number of touchdowns, 19 on the year for the junior.
We had told you it was open. Tell you what, they were not adjusting properly. We've had that play. Generally, it was to the left. This time, he ran it back to the right, and they just didn't have enough men there in order to stop that option. If someone has to have outside, somebody has to fill, and somebody has to go for quarterback. Has to be 3 defenders there.
Chris Malloy is on for the extra point. The holder is the backup quarterback, Colin Bruno. Here's the kick on the way, and Malloy is 2 for 2. 39 seconds to go here in the first half, and Hillsborough now leads it by the score of 14-0, coming on the touchdown run from Dan Phillips.
I told you it'd be awfully important for Sayreville not to allow Hillsborough to get into the end zone, but turnovers have a way of coming back and biting you, don't they? And that's exactly what happens here. It looked like they were going to get downfield, and even if they didn't score, they could run the time down. But watch, there's going to be nobody on the outside. There's the man comes in, takes the quarterback, and as a result, who's going to take this guy, Dan Phillips? Nobody until he gets into the end zone. Good hit on the quarterback. That job was done. That's exactly what's supposed to happen there. But you got to have somebody fill the next 2 slots, and they did not happen at all. So this is an outstanding read by quarterback Szymborski, and of course Phillips had good separation and distance, which allows him to get out into the open field and sneak into the end zone.
Hillsborough with a 14-0 lead. 5 plays to go, 44 yards in just 59 seconds. So we've seen a long touchdown drive and now a short touchdown drive, and the first time today that a turnover has come into play after the tip and interception by Kelly. Hillsborough's on the scoreboard. Chris Malloy will kick this one away from the 40-yard line with just 39 seconds to go in the first half.
I'm not sure I'd bang this long and let the deep guys get a chance to get ahead of steam up. I think that's what I would do right there.
The short kick, taken by Worthington. Worthington crosses the 40 up to the 43-yard line. They still have 33 seconds to throw the football a couple times, but Sayreville is not a team that throws the football with great dexterity.
Now, and you're going to be playing a prevent defense this time all the way. Everybody's going to be deep, try and keep everything in front of them. So Hoyt has to know at this point, he wants to look at the short patterns, wants to go to the outside, hope to stop the clock with somebody getting out of bounds. They've already burned timeouts, as you recall. Had to try and get their composure.
33 seconds to go in this first half. Isabella goes in motion, 3 wideouts to the far side, and the pass is complete. Caught and upended right near the 50-yard line on the play.
Tom Cassidy.
Was Tom Cassidy. So Cassidy gets his first catch of the day.
And they burn another timeout. This may well be their last one. We'll have to take a look.
Well, it has been really a struggle all day long for Sayreville to find its rhythm against this Hillsborough defense.
That pass was a dangerous one, as the defense will get around Mance now, who will count them up, huh? Hey, we're missing somebody. Somebody want to play football out here? Come on, get over here.
You know, Mance calls the offensive plays, the defensive fronts, and he really has a handle on everything that's going on for Hillsborough.
And you take a look at him. If I were an assistant coach, I don't think I'd want to argue with him. There's the timeout. Sayreville will have 1 remaining. Hillsborough still with 2. Unless there's a turnover, don't expect them to use any.
You know, Mance was an offensive lineman on a Hillsborough team that won a state title back in 1980. They were a Group 3 back then. Had a 10-7 win in overtime against Madison Central. So now he's trying to coach his team to a championship at Hillsborough.
So it's a real thrill for him, coaching his high school team and coaching at Rutgers University from whence he graduated.
Slight smile on his face right now, and why not? Up 14-0 with just 21 seconds to go. 2nd and 5 coming up here at midfield. 2-step drop, pump once. Hoyt gonna air it out, looking for Jabby, and here's almost an interception. It's incomplete.
You think they were looking for something deep? They only had 3 defenders there. That's the way the play was designed all the way. They had no secondary receiver at all. Something strange, if you will, when you're facing a openly, you know, everybody knows you're going to throw the football in that situation. You only throw 1 receiver out there. Doesn't make it too difficult for the defensive backfield to close on them. 2 for 6, not the best day for Hoyt throwing the football.
And 1 interception to boot, and that turned into a touchdown the other way. 3rd and 5 at the 49-yard line. Looking again for Cassidy, one-hopped it to him, incomplete. So the numbers get a little worse.
Yep, right out near midfield. This should be, I would think you'd run another play here. There's only 8 seconds remaining, so what if you don't get your first down, the ball turns around. Maybe 1 play, perhaps 1 play for Hillsborough if that happens, but I think you've got to go for it here.
8 seconds to go in this first half, and George Najar sees his team trailing 14-0 on the scoreboard. Hoyt rolls left, throws across his body, and that's a tough way to go, and one-hops it again toward Cassidy, incomplete. There is 4 seconds left.
Well, Hillsborough has a choice right now. They can either just kneel on it and be happy with the 14-0, I'll bet, unexpected lead by most people here in the stadium, or they can just line up in that trips formation and go for a Hail Mary.
Well, I think Rick Mance is probably thinking Scott Robinson if he wants to go deep. Great speed burner on his way to Virginia, and we already saw that he can get behind the defense.
They're coming with the trips to the near side, so they're lined up in it.
I'm looking for Scott Robinson here.
All come down to how much time he has.
Last play of the first half.
Nope, that's it.
Nope, Szymborski's going to fake us all out, just take a knee. 14-0 at halftime with Hillsborough. A surprising lead over undefeated Sayreville as Rick Mance takes his team to the locker room up by 2 touchdowns. Stay with us on CNA.
People tell me my recipes aren't exact enough because sometimes I say, add a little bit of this or a lot of that or just a touch of something else. I even say to cook it until it's just done. Well, that's because to me, great food isn't made of exact proportions. It's a little bit of science and a whole lot of love.
Paul Dillon and Let's Cook, weeknights at 6 on CN8.
So how much do you have to love it? About that much.
Imagine a TV show made up of intelligent conversation with interesting people, artists, authors, athletes, and sometimes even politicians. Fascinating people with fascinating ideas about life and living it better. And just imagine that as we find out what makes them tick, we see insights into ourselves. That television show is alive. It's called One-on-One.
Steve Adobato's One-on-One, Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 on CN8.
Back here at Rutgers, we're at halftime in this NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 4 Championship game with Hillsborough leading Sayreville 14-0. Let's take a look at our first half highlights. After a scoreless first quarter, it was Stephen Hess capping off a 12-play, 71-yard drive.
And look at Dan Phillips and Khalif Santiago, the other two backs, number 6 and 28, are out in front of Hess. It was a Hess drive. They had ball control the whole half, and it paid off right there.
Biggest defensive play, of course, from Jeff Kelly. Tips the ball and comes up with a pick.
Gets that big right hand up there, and then look at the reaction to get the interception. Knows enough to move forward and put him in good field position.
And then just 5 plays and 44 yards later, Dan Phillips on a 7-yard run.
Outstanding read by quarterback Zimborski on the option. Gets it to Phillips, who puts the shoulder down and into the end zone for the second score. A big 14-0 lead.
And your first half stats, Mike, all Hillsborough.
Look at that total yards, 188 to 47 for an 11-0 club. But look at the time of possession. Nearly double, 8:28 for Sayreville, but 15:32 for Hillsborough. Surprise to a lot of people came out to watch this outstanding team.
Upset in the making, Hillsborough leading Sayreville 14-0. Stay with us on CN8.
Put that cigarette right now.
Look, you're not old enough to tell me what to do. Now go and sit down.
Please.
Okay, so now you smoke the cigarettes and then you get lung cancer. And what else can you get? Oh, of course, your heart can stop beating. You can get asthma. How about if you smoke a cigar? What about a pipe? You know, you have to respect the person, even if they're doing something that is wrong.
Weeknights at 11 on Lou Tilley's Sports Connection. We've got game. We've got scores. We've got highlights. We've got personality. Heck, we've even got tomorrow's sports headlines. And of course, we've got you on the line and connected. 877-CN8 Live. That's our number. And if you're into sports, well, we've already got your number.
Lou Tilley Sports Connection, weeknights at 11 on CN8. Lou Tilley, he's got game.
Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium here in Piscataway, New Jersey for this Central Jersey Group 4 Championship. Mick Moddinghoff along with Mike Linder. Glad you could join us on CN8 as right now Hillsborough with a 14-0 lead over Sayreville as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. I guess the saving grace is that Sayreville will get the football to start quarter number 3.
Yeah, they won the toss at the start of the game, deferred, and now they get the chance to get the football. They're going to have to make some adjustments. Not the big time in terms of plays, but they're going to make adjustments in terms of playing some smash-mouth football. And this guy got to lead them here. Absolutely important for the leader, 4-year starter, Brandon Hoyt, to turn this team around and say, we're going right at them, man on man, and we're going to show them why we came in 11-0.
Chris Malloy has shown a pretty good leg strength in the first half. Back deep, Junior Jabby. Where's number 2? He's the speedster. They'll try to kick it away from him. So Malloy approaches the football, and the left footer does keep it away. It's going to bounce and go out of bounds at the 25-yard line, and now Sayreville has the option to either make him re-kick or take it at the 35.
And I bet they take it at the 35.
Why not? Hey, big first half for Dan Phillips as he now has gone over 1,000 yards, but gets to start the third quarter on defense.
Yeah, he's a two-way player. Is one of those guys at the Group 4 level get to play both ways. But there it is, 131 rushes on the season and 1,003 with the 15 TDs. Great mark to make.
Had 96 yards rushing in the first half along with a touchdown. First and 10, 35-yard line for Sayreville with a man in motion. That has been Isabella. And the handoff is fake play action. Brandon Hoyt wants to throw on first down. There is no one there. The intended receiver, Tom Cassidy.
Now that hurts you if it's one that you diagrammed in the locker room at halftime and said, we'll come right out, we're going to have the football, and we'll run that special pass play, double fake, look like we're going to run a little trap back in the middle, and then we'll look downfield. Nobody bit at all on the defense, and as a result, Hoyt has no one open downfield. 2 for 10 does not spell quarterback. It spells linebacker who's playing quarterback, who's a great athlete.
Absolutely right. 2nd and 10, 35-yard line, man in motion. And rolling to the near side is the quarterback on a keep all the way. Hoyt sheds 1 tackler, but not 5 more. Wow.
Would you say there's some hitting going on down there? Nick Boyle leading the way. He has been strength all season long from that interior part of the line, and he just slid down the line using his arms to shed the blockers from the offensive side and then exploded into Hoyt. Look at him playing right down the line, and fight that last blocker off, and then get to Hoyt and hold him up for everybody else. That is super defensive line play by Nick Boyle.
3rd and 11 coming up here at the 34-yard line on this first drive of the 3rd quarter as Ben Isabella goes in motion. Hoyt on a 5-step drop. Wants to throw for Isabella on the out pattern and almost intercepted as it goes out of bounds. Defending on the play, Scott Robinson, as the ball was underthrown.
Well, I expected him to come out and run smash mouth football to try and get some respect back. Instead, we see him putting the ball up in the air. And this is not Hoyt's strength, at least in my mind, from what we've seen today. And statistically, we know he only threw 59 times prior to this ball game, all the time in the world, and still can't get that zip on the ball.
So now Hoyt back in punt formation. Sets up camp at the 22-yard line. The kick is away. Matt Campbell will watch it bounce, had to shade his eyes and gets out of the way and lets it roll dead at the 33-yard line. So after the punt, 1st and 10, 33 for Hillsborough. They have the football back, leading by a score of 14-0 for their first possession here in quarter number 3.
It'll be interesting to see what Szymborski, the surprise starter, the senior who's led them so well through a season, and then with injury, didn't know if he would get much playing time at all. And instead, he's started and gone all the way. Hasn't done that well in the air, 2 for 9, but he's been an outstanding runner of the option so far.
His one big pass, though, to Hess did set up a touchdown. Hand off to Hess here on 1st and 10, and he crosses the 35 to the 36-yard line. A gain of 3 for Stephen Hess, who had a touchdown in that first half.
Notice Santiago going in on that first fake, the fullback. We talked about that in the opening quarter where he was getting the call so frequently on this series of options that they run, and now that everybody's looking at him and they're frozen somewhat at the linebacker position, it allows Hess or Phillips to get open on the off tackle or option.
Robinson wide to the near side, backs on a wishbone on 2nd down, fake. Oh, and the quarterback tripped up, got the handoff, and Brandon Hoyt derails Dan Phillips.
He's so quick. His reactions, ability to read, and the ability to respond and get there is just so good. First, it is a good play by Szymborski just to get the ball up in the air, but once again, the hole is there. When you're sliding down the line, you find the opening as a linebacker, and then you explode in and make the tackle. No question in my mind why he was recruited.
3rd and 8, 35-yard line. You feel it's a passing situation as Robinson goes wide to the far side, and the backs are now intermittent. Kind of like that wing T set, man in motion, play action fake, and Szymborski wants to throw it a deep ball and overthrew Dan Phillips. 2nd time today he has had Phillips wide open, incomplete.
Had him open in a short pass in the flat right near halftime, and now he gets him open as he turns upfield and cannot get it to him.
He gets some touch on this football. You're looking at probably points again.
Just floated it up in the air a little too high. I think it was a result of having to get the ball up over his linemen who were doing a good job giving him time.
Phillips is on to punt the football away, standing on the 20-yard line. Good snap, great protection. Low line drive kick will bounce and roll, taken on the hop, and the football is loose. Isabella goes after it. Hillsborough says they have it, and I think they do. The Raiders have the football. Deron Sproul handled it first, fumbled it. Ben Isabella could not cover up. Hillsborough has it, 1st and 10, just outside the red zone.
Well, there are errors of omission, there's errors of commission. This is one of commission. No way this ball should be picked up. We saw this happen in the first half, if you recall. Right at the last instant, runner decided to try and pick one up. Here he does it again, and it is just not the play to make as Sproul fumbles it, and then it's knocked away again out of the hands of Isabella and sprung on by Hillsborough.
1st and 10, 27-yard line. Phillips takes the handoff, trying to turn a corner, picks a block, goes up the middle, crosses the 15 and down to the 13-yard line. Dan Phillips.
Give Phillips lots of credit on that one, but also credit that turnover for a psychological downer on the previous play. That time the defense for Sayreville just did not have the oomph that we've seen from them the whole game. It was as if they were just down slightly. Look at the difference here, how everybody gets on the man with a shoulder and they back off instead of plunging forward and fighting the blockers.
13 carries for 108 yards. 1st and 10, 13-yard line. Here is Phillips on a little end around. Doesn't get much of a block, but falls forward to the 9-yard line. So a gain of a few for Dan Phillips.
Now you can't be out on the field thinking we're 11-0, we're 11-0, we want to win number 12. But I'm telling you, pretty soon you got to recognize that there are key moments in the game, and this is one of them right now, coming up on 3rd down following this stop that they made on Phillips and forcing the 2nd down situation and what, 10?
2nd and 7.
7, yeah.
Gain of 3. Ball at the 10-yard line. Khalif Santiago in motion, gives it a fullback on a play that was slow to develop. That'll keep the linebackers at home as Stephen Hess goes forward.
Now the one thing that Hillsborough has going for them here is that while they're going to have at least a officials timeout trying to back everybody off on the sideline on the Sayreville side. We'll have to wait now as they come out and break the huddle. But the one thing Hillsborough has going with them is that they can be very careful here. If they're unable to get it, they have that big weapon that they can come up and get additional points with.
They're in Malloy's range right now. 3rd and 4 at the 7-yard line, although they did try for an early touchdown. They got stoned at the 9. Handoff here goes to the fullback. That is Greg Hausen. And he doesn't find much either, but he does keep the football in the middle of the field.
Yeah, they ran that play right back to the middle as if they were saying, if we don't get it, let's think about the field goal. But I don't know. Don't see any movement, anybody coming out to set up.
4th and 3 with the ball at the 6-yard line. So they can get a 1st down. Down at the 3. Steve Zimborski has gone the entire route. Senior quarterback under center, backs in tight in the wishbone.
Left side's wide open. They're going the other way, though.
Hand off to the right side. It'll be very close to a 1st down for Dan Phillips.
This is one where you bring the chains in, isn't it?
I would think so.
Came very, very close to losing it and might have and recovered by one of his own men. But I'll tell you what, if they had gone the other way, Sayreville was in the wrong defense, they would have walked into the end zone.
Well, the spot is right near the 3-yard line. I think they heard the whistle on his way down, so it depends on the spot. They get him the 1st down, 1st and goal. So Phillips carries for what turns into a 1st down. It is 1st and goal with the football at the 3. They had to get to the 3, and Rick Manson see his team take a 21-0 lead. If they can punch it in here.
Think he knows how important this score would be?
Absolutely.
Man, they've got the block right there, top of your screen on the left side. Just kick everybody back.
The wide side's the left. They'll go up the middle, and nothing doing as Khalif Santiago is stoned. Ben Isabella on the stop.
Ran right into the strength of it. The movement was to the outside. The defenders are down in a 3 or 4 point stance, and they're giving the shoulder to the wide man on the line who can come back on a kickback block and just seal to the inside. You need one block kick to the outside, and you're in the end zone.
Good hit by Brandon Hoyt. 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Handoff here goes to Phillips. Dumped back at the 4. Once again, Brandon Hoyt. One-man wrecking crew keeping Phillips out of the end zone.
Well, Hoyt is expending so much energy on now what almost appears to be 2 goal line stands. It's been the same one, but how many plays have been running down here? And then he's going to come back and play offense and be the leader. Tell you what, if he's able to do that, you know what kind of athlete he is. Everybody's talked about him all over the state.
3rd and goal at the 3 for Hillsborough. Fake, no, they give to the fullback, and Hausen gets down to about the 1. You don't expect Greg Hausen to carry the football. Hasn't carried it much this year. Ryan Shizuski is in on the stop. So it sets up a 4th and goal at the 2-yard line. George Najar on one side, Rick Mance on the other. 4th and goal at the 2-yard line. Going to get a timeout here. An official timeout. They'll reset the ball. Here we go. 4th and goal, 2-yard line. The clock starts. Szymborski's under center. Hand off goes to Santiago. Stood up. He did not get in. Thrown back by Brandon Hoyt and company at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, we saw that touchdown early, didn't we, huh? That's the same play that Hess had run, essentially with the 2 running backs out in front as a blocker. But they read that perfectly. They saw that Hillsborough went to the unbalanced line in that direction, which is the key. They're coming right at you, either off guard or off tackle, and they stacked it up quickly, reacted well. Look, the 2 backs in front, but look at the linebackers come. Hoyt is right there, number 20 again. So he's done the job defensively. Now he's got to try and do something offensively.
Hand off here on 1st and 10 at the 3-yard line. They'll run just a straight dive forward to Mike Worthington. Well, the Sayreville drives have not been impressive. A lot of punts and a couple of turnovers too.
Too many 3 and outs.
That has spelled doom so far. Even though the defense, though, for Sayreville has had 2 goal line stands, this could be a 28-0 game. The quarterback, Hoyt, breaks a tackle, cannot get down the sidelines, but he has a player on his back in Matt Campbell and was dragging him all the way to the 20-yard line.
You have a sense that he may have done that on his own and didn't even tell the team. This may be one where he says he calls that play, and then he pulls it out himself and just keeps it, because there's nobody out there blocking for him, is it, at all. He may have just said, I've got to do something to excite this club and turn them on.
Turns into a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Hoyt now 22 yards rushing on 6 carries. Sayreville down by a count of 14-0 here in the 3rd quarter. And the quarterback rolls, hit, going down at the 19 on a loss of 1. Standing tall, Stephen Paduk making the tackle. Good look at Jeff Kelly, who helped bring down the quarterback, had the big defensive play in the 1st half, tipping the ball in the air and then coming up with the interception that led to the 2nd touchdown for Hillsborough. 2nd and 11 at the 19-yard line. Here's the handoff. Ben Isabella got to the 23. The ball did come loose, but they already ruled him down. There is a flag, though, down at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, everything is going against them, huh? Just self-destructing all the way.
Well, we'll separate the flags here. It looks like it's going to be against Sayreville. So they'll pick it up. It looks like a clip against the offense. Here comes the call.
Clip on the offense. Replay 2nd down.
You take a look here and you say, this is a club that's 11-0 coming in, and you wonder, did they just squeak by? But this is a club that's just murdered people. 25-0, 26-0, 42-19, 36-7. We'll get a chance maybe to take a look at that record all the way through. And this is a club that is getting it handed to them so far in this ball game.
2nd and 19, back at the 11-yard line. Hoyt rolls and he is hit at the goal line, throws it away. There's the flag. This could turn into a safety.
Yep.
They'll
confirm. It. You cannot throw the ball from the end zone and just getting rid of it. Intentional grounding without losing the 2 points.
A big 2 points. Makes the score 16-0. Mark Ammerman, the freshman, in on the play, and Rick Mance.
He gives the sign, huh?
Says, yeah, that's a safety. I'll take it.
You know, he had to get rid of it earlier. Either go down, get tackled, give up. Right here as he gets the pressure. Instead, he throws it out there to the side just to try and get rid of it, and he's in the end zone clearly, so that's the 2 points. And now the worst thing is they have to free kick from the 20, and Hillsborough's going to get the football.
16-0 Hillsborough. And we'll see that when we come back in a moment. 3:08 to go in the third quarter. Hillsborough a commanding 16-0 lead.
Trenton Titan hockey. It's about attitude, passion, determination, and downright grit. The Titans are on the attack on CN8. Don't miss tomorrow's NHL Superstars and bone-crushing non-stop action.
Here's a shot, score! Centering pass, shot, score!
Titan hockey. It'll take more than just your breath away.
Wow.
Don't miss the Trenton Titans take on the Greensboro Generals Sunday afternoon at 1.
Welcome back, 16-0. Hillsborough leading Sayreville. The 6th-seeded team having its way all day long against the Bombers, who came in top-ranked. Hope you joined the ball game today on CN8. Also, we'd like to welcome our viewers who are watching on the Madison Square Garden Network as well. Seeing a lot of people could call an upset today. But when you talk about the Skyland Conference, a lot of great teams. Hillsborough, Phillipsburg, Warren Hills playing for a championship as well. There's some good teams in the Northwest New Jersey part of the state.
And they've had real good history in the state playoffs.
Jimmy Miller has it teed up, who has to kick it away from the 20-yard line. He will just kind of hit the short kick. It'll bounce. It's a live football. It rolls back. Sayreville has it. It came back to the 50-yard line. And Kenny Smith comes up with a loose football. Sayreville gets it back.
Well, they've got to take advantage of it, though, don't they? Remarkable. Everybody looking there, and I'm not sure if they said, hey, let it go out of bounds, but even if it did, they were already beyond where the ball would be placed. So it couldn't have gotten hurt. They would have gotten the ball right there. You got to get on that football. So a couple of errors made here, one by each team. I think it was an error by Hoyt not to get go down before he went into the end zone, and an error here by the receiving team not getting on top of the football.
New life for Sayreville. Can they come back? Deep toss, the ball fumbled, picked up momentarily, and going to the 48-yard line is Darren Sinclair. Sinclair kind of dribbled it like a basketball and still gets positive yards.
The play, though, is made out here defensively by Steve Hess, who just stretches his play. We'll take a look at the way this works. Come on, guys, somebody get on it. Get on. Well, they ran right by it, and look how quickly the reaction comes and gives Sayreville new life.
2nd and 9 at the 47-yard line. 16-0 to score, 2:30 to go in the third quarter. Hillsborough out front of Sayreville, who has the football. Fake the better series. Hoyt will keep it, and Hoyt goes to the 40-yard line. He'll be about a yard shy of a first down.
Well, he's been carrying them defensively now. It looks like from the last drive in this one, he's going to try and carry them offensively also. Boy, he read that hole very nicely, didn't he? And got into it and turned upfield and picked up the 6 yards.
George Najar sees his team with the best field position they've had all day. 3rd and 1 at the 39-yard line. 1 of 7 on third down, though. They only need a yard. Hoyt will keep it stood up. It'll be very close to a first down. He might not have made it.
They're going to have to get a real good spot for him to have it. And I think he got the spot.
And they haven't flipped the card yet. They may call for a measurement.
If he has it by 3 inches.
I'll hold you to it.
Okay.
The chains will come on. Mike Lindner says he has the first down. I beg to differ.
By 3 inches.
1:41 to go in the third quarter. Sayreville trying to keep the drive alive more than 3 inches.
Yep. Well, I meant 3 inches between the ball and the marker.
Oh, okay. George Najar sees his team with a crucial first down. 1st and 10, Sayreville, the football at the 38.
Remember what we said about turnovers. You got to come up with points off of turnovers. Hillsborough did it. Sayreville has to do it now.
Man in motion, Sinclair the near side, 3 wideouts that way. Here's a pass, complete to Cassidy, makes the catch, takes it down to the 31-yard line.
That play is the 3rd time we've seen it, or maybe 4th time we've seen it, and I swear every time it's been a backward pass, a lateral. Good thing that they've come up with the football, make the catch, or they could be in trouble.
You're absolutely right. That was a lateral pass. 2nd and 5, football marked at the 33. Yeah, it looks a little colder when you're down by 16-0 with 1:07 to go in the third quarter. Trying to start the fire on the Sayreville sideline. Isabella goes in motion. Handoff straight forward. Worthington stopped at the 26-yard line. he never went down.
You know what I said about the adjustment to make it halftime smash mouth football? Come out and get some respect. Let them know that you're an 11-0 ball club. And they got it that time. The offensive line, just watch how they exploded on that X block right there. Outstanding job done in order to open the hole and then get the yardage necessary for the first down.
1st and 10, 22-yard line for Sayreville. 2 yards outside the red zone. Isabella in motion. Single setback. They fake to him. The quarterback keeps. Crosses the 25 to the 24 for Brandon Hoyt, and that's going to be all.
Well, at least they're in 4-down territory. They've got to, I think, get into the end zone on this play. I mean, 20 seconds and clock moving. Will they run another one?
They may. I like the clock to run out. Just 12 seconds ago in quarter number 3. You don't want to misfire and hurry something along when you have a whole 4th quarter to go down by 2 scores. The scoreboard clock says 0 and time will run out. 16-0 our score. Hillsborough leading Sayreville, but the Bombers on the march. Stay with us.
Imagine a TV show made up of intelligent conversation with interesting people, artists, authors, athletes, and sometimes even politicians. Fascinating people with fascinating ideas about life and living it better. And just imagine that as we find out what makes them tick, we see insights into ourselves. That television show is alive. It's called One-on-One.
Steve Adobato's One-on-One, Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 on CN8.
Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium. You see the scores by quarter. 16-0 Hillsborough with 14 in the second, but here is an option toss. And the deep ball to the end zone, caught out of the end zone, no touchdown. Tom Cassidy makes the catch, but he did not get a foot inbounds.
A little hop right at the end. He was trying to hop to make sure he would come down in the end zone. Instead, that hop is what takes him out of it. Number one, not very well disguised, is it at all? But this is going to be the halfback pass thrown downfield by Junior Jabby. And look at him hop. I'm going to come down, but he comes down out of bounds. That hop was designed to get him up in the air, try and slow his progress, and bring him down.
Good throw by Jabby, but just a shade too far. Cassidy with a good catch. He really tried to get a foot down, and his left foot just hit the chalk.
Scott Robinson was on him defensively, and he also may have come down and come up with a cramp as a result. Hopefully that's all it is. This guy's such an outstanding player and has a big 4 years ahead of him.
Yes, he does. He is on his way to Virginia. Great speed, the best wide and deep threat that Hillsborough has. They'd hate to lose him. A pretty good toss by Junior Jabby, who is just a sophomore. Well, Sayreville went undefeated this year to get into the state final, and take a look at the way they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I talked about it earlier, you got 4 shutouts showing there, but look at all the points scored. This isn't a team that just danced their way into a 11-0 record. This is a club that really averaged 32.4 points a ball game, only giving up 6.1. That's pretty convincing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Woodbridge, pretty good team. Trenton was a good team in the playoffs. Some quality wins. 3rd and 8, 24-yard line after the incomplete pass. Single setback formation. Hoyt sends a man in motion in Ben Isabella. They give to Worthington straight forward, maybe a yard.
Strange looking play right there, wasn't it? With the yardage necessary to pick up a first down and keep everything moving. And instead, they've got 4th and a long 5 or 6 yards.
So it's going to turn into a 4th and 6 after the gain at the 22-yard line.
Well, this has to be Hoyt coming to the right side. Got to be. You've got to put your best player and give him the opportunity to make some kind of play. And the movement should be to the near side, coming right at us.
Quarterback has been most effective. He rolls right, loads up the throw, has a man open. Isabella, touchdown. Ben Isabella, the touchdown reception. Just his 3rd touchdown reception this year. And for Brandon Hoyt, touchdown pass number 5. You don't expect him to throw the football. That's why it was so effective. And now a big 2-point play coming up for Brandon Hoyt and company.
Yeah, they'll need it. They've got to get it here, so it'll be 16-8. Another touchdown, another 2-pointer if they're successful here and we get a tie. But how about that toss? Somebody made a mistake, I think, in the defensive backfield that time.
So two-point conversion. Backs come out in a pro set. Hoyt rolls, pumps once, things breaking down, forced back to the left. Throws to the end zone. It is tipped on a great play by Matt Campbell, and it's incomplete. Isabella, the intended receiver, but rejected by Matt Campbell.
Matt Campbell came up big. He's been doing it all day long and all year long in the defensive backfield. And that time, never gave up, followed his receiver all the way. Watch again now. Looks like Hoyt's going to come up with one of those magic plays. Nothing happening there. He's going to turn and go the other way. But look, plenty of pressure. Hess was out there. And then look at Campbell reach across and make that stretch and knock the ball away. 16-6.
16-6 the score. As Sayreville gets back in the ball game, still with plenty of time, 11-13 to play. 9 plays to go 48 yards. I'll tell you, not a bad drive, and you don't expect a touchdown pass. But Campbell doing a nice job keeping the football out for the two-point conversion.
Well, I credit Hoyt because he found Isabella, who was wide open. Somebody hadn't picked up that should have picked up. Real good read. We knew they're going to sprint to the right side, obviously. A lot of room there. And then he looks, he says, oh, he's wide open already. I'm going to get rid of this football. And there's the man coming defensively who had to have the job to cover him, and that's not going to happen as Chris Malloy was in the ball game. And guess why he was there? You remember the previous play?
Robinson got hurt.
Was hurt, and they had to go with the guy who hadn't been playing, and he's the one that got beat.
15-yard line for Campbell. Campbell to the 30, and that's where it'll be 1st and 10 for Hillsborough. 1st and 10, Hillsborough at the 30-yard line on the return by Campbell, who broke up the two-point play and now gives up pretty good field position here for Hillsborough.
Let me tell you, if the assistant coaches picked that up with Robinson going off and made that call, they earned their stipend for the season, didn't they? If this turns the ball game around.
They would. 1st and 10, 30-yard line for Hillsborough. Now up by 10 points. Fake to the fullback, give to Khalif. Nice job by the fullback, Santiago, to get about 8 yards on the carry.
You know, everybody talked about Phillips before this ball game, but Santiago's had a pretty good year. He came in with 77 carries for 521 yards and 6 TDs, so he's no slouch. We've seen what Hess can do, so all 3 guys in the backfield getting lots of running time and performing admirably.
2nd and 2, 38-yard line. Here is the give to Phillips. Trying to get the first down at half it, turns the corner and out of bounds at the 45-yard line for Dan Phillips.
That option, that wishbone option, will just drive you nuts. Eventually it's going to break open to the outside because this time with the fake they made into the line, it just froze everybody. And all of a sudden Phillips winds up with the football going to the outside. Watch this fake that they made right in the middle. Everybody was self-contained except the one guy on the outside who got the block thrown on him by Scott Robinson, which allowed Phillips to turn upfield and get the additional yards.
Be careful on the sidelines. Phillips now at 130 yards today. 1st and 10, 46-yard line, and the handoff goes to Santiago up the middle with one man to beat. Finally pulled down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Darren Sinclair, but a big hole up front for Khalif Santiago.
Now, Santiago from the fullback slot is not used to seeing big holes open like this. Look at that opening. What a super job done by the blockers up front. And good thing Sinclair came along and made that stop.
6 carries, 44 yards for Santiago. 1st and 10, 17-yard line, Hillsborough up by 10 points in the 4th quarter. From the wishbone. Running away from 2 tackles as Phillips got to the 15-yard line, and that's all.
You know, that previous play, we should give credit to Hawson, number 30, who hadn't been playing at the fullback slot, the up man in the wishbone, but he is in there now, and he threw that block that really was all the difference to give the running room up the middle.
Well, inside the red zone, we've already seen Sayreville stone Hillsborough twice today. Could they do it a 3rd time? They'd have to if they have any shot of winning the ball game. Fullback dive, the football came loose, and it is picked up by Hillsborough.
Well, there you go. Hawson, who has not been running all day long, finally gets a shot. Instead of blocking, he's going to run the football. Not used to the exchange, and as a result, he just fumbles it. Look, it gets in there, and I think he thought it was going to be an option that they would pull the ball out. And fortunately for Hillsborough, they'll keep the ball.
Now the backs kind of think they're out of the play, and watch, Santiago says, there's the football, I got it.
Look at that reaction.
Great reaction. sets up a 3rd and 7 at the 14-yard line. Right in the middle of the field. Single coverage on Robinson, who's back in. They fake to the fullback. Quarterback keep leading forward to the 10-yard line as the quarterback, Steve Zimborski. He is short of the first down by 2.5 yards. Now, do you finally kick the field goal?
Well, I don't think the way they chose not to when they were closer previously.
Malloy.
They chose not to. Now they'd have a longer one.
It'll be 4th and 3 at the 10-yard line. Gonna try for a first down. Backs in the wishbone. Hand off to Phillips, leaning forward. He'll be very close. I don't think he made it.
Depends on the spot, as usual. Did the linesman come straight in, or did he go on an angle? He does not. He will not get it. Another stop.
It's 3rd time today that inside the 10-yard line that Hillsborough has been stoned by Sayreville. Another look.
I think the move was to the outside. Instead, he decides right here to come back to the inside. Really, they're running right into the big guy, Hoyt. Doesn't make the initial hit, but winds up on the pile to deny him the first down.
Hoyt and company doing a great job in goal line defense situations today. Keeping the game close. 1st and 10, 10-yard line. And the handoff going straight forward, nothing there at all.
The defensive line is just beating Sayreville's offensive line to the punch in most of the plays so far today. Kelly, Ammerman, Boyle, and Papaduke have just been exploding off the defensive mark. And that offensive line is getting stood up as a result, and that gives them no ability to move people left or right, get a hole.
2nd down and 8. Man in motion, and they give to the end coming around. That is Ben Isabella, but nothing there as he gets up to the 11-yard line, and that is all.
Bobby Berardi, number 65, was leading the way, but he really pulled deeply and allowed everybody to see what was happening that time. Good key if you're playing at the defensive linebacking spot and you see that guard pull, particularly when he gets deep like that. Gives you plenty of time to slide instead of penetrating and then make your move when you finally locate the football.
Big day for Bill Ammerman. Tell you a story about him after the snap. 3rd and 7 at the 11-yard line. Back to throw is Hoyt. Pumps, throws, Isabella open at the 20-yard line, complete to the 23 for a first down.
Nice job, wasn't it, by Hoyt that time, and a good pattern run downfield by Isabella to find the open seam. They flood the zone. They have 3 receivers out here now, and the defenders, only 2 of them got to decide who to cover, and Isabella winds up open. Now, I'll tell you what, Hoyt really has to hold his ground and wait until he can throw, and as a result, he gets punished by Hammerman again.
1st and 10, 23-yard line. There's a lateral pass, almost broken up, but was caught. And they'll spot it at the 21, so actually a loss of 2 on the catch by Tom Cassidy.
See the reaction by Dan Phillips that time, and I'll tell you what, he's got at least a stinger, hopefully nothing more than that. I believe that's him down. He made that quick move to the outside. Yeah.
Kind of reaching back for the quad a little bit. You would hate to lose a guy who already has over 130 yards in the ball game today, 133 to be exact. He's gone over 1,000 for the season.
And watch, he reads this perfectly, and he shoots out there as quickly as he can get there, and then bang, looks like left knee right to the helmet of the the receiver, Cassidy. Look and see if the knee hits his helmet. Right, here it comes. There it is, left knee on the helmet. That'll sting you. Hopefully that's just a bruise.
Well, he is able to get to his feet, and it looks like that Phillips will limp it off. You know, Phillips single-handedly won a game against Phillipsburg this year.
It wasn't a bad day, was it?
No, he had a kickoff return for a touchdown, scored 2 touchdowns, and blocked the game-time extra point.
Other than that, he then drove the bus home.
Just about. Phillips will go out of the lineup on this play. Now, last time when there was a defensive change in the secondary, when Scott Robinson was shaken up and one out, you saw the touchdown pass from Hoyt to Isabella. See if they pick up on this defensive switch here. Once again, the man they'd be picking on is Chris Malloy, who's just into the ball game. and they're looking that way. Hoyt throws back across the middle, incomplete.
Oh, my.
Cassidy, the intended receiver, wanted a flag and none called.
Yeah, there is one. Robinson's going to be called for interference.
I didn't see it.
Oh, the official came running in way from behind the play and grabbed his flag with the right hand and tossed it as far as he could. Had to toss it about 17, 18 yards, but he read it. He felt, I think, that Robinson went up over his back.
John Fernsler.
Defensive pass interference. First down.
I didn't see the flag coming from the side. They call it on Robinson. Turns into a first down for Sayreville, and the drive stays alive. First and 10, 39-yard line. Back to throw is Hoyt. Under siege. Who does he let it go? And it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, a little urgency now. They get up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Went to that shotgun formation. Not going to waste any time under center anymore. They figure everybody knows they're going to have to throw the football. 6 minutes and 12 seconds left. They better have some urgency.
Brandon Hoyt trying to lead his team down the field. They're down by 10 with 6 minutes and 12 seconds to go. George Najar trying to find a play that's going to work. Here we're looking at a 2nd and 10.
Oh, Hoyt takes a shot, does he not? Beautiful job defensively.
Football on the ground. Who's got it?
And you
looks like Sayreville's going to keep it.
You wonder whether that hit, that previous play, got Hoyt just a little anxious on that one, huh? Knows he has to get the ball quickly and look downfield. And now he's looking, can't handle it, and bounced his way. And fortunately, he gets on it himself.
Bill Ammerman almost came up with it, but it was a low snap from center that caused the play. 3rd and 10, 35-yard line.
3 for 10, 3rd down conversions. They need one here.
Here's a toss. Isabella makes the catch, can't get away from the coverage and drop back at the 35-yard line. Good coverage downfield by Chris Malloy and Stephen Hess.
Yeah, Hess just read that perfectly, didn't he? Number 39 got there in a hurry. Junior linebackers had a big day offensively and defensively, particularly on that play. And all of a sudden, look at it, 4th down, 5:06. What's happening here, huh?
4th and 4 at the 37. They're going to go for the first down. Snap to Hoyt in the shotgun. Loads up, throws, tip, and incomplete. And I think Robinson was the only player to get a hand on the football.
Yep.
Big defensive stand for Scott Robinson as the upset is just 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Stay with us.
Do you brush your teeth?
In the morning,
Yes.
at supper time, and at night.
Black. Who is black? Nighttime and supper time and morning. Why are we brushing? Where's your toothbrush? Now, would you please smile? Now, yours haven't come in yet, have they? No. Is there a seed for the tooth? No. Well, how is it that they're growing?
Welcome back. 4th quarter action. 1st and 10, 37-yard line for Hillsborough. Another great start. Good field position. Here comes Khalif Santiago trying to turn the corner, trying to get a block from Robinson. Didn't really get a good one. He stays in bounds at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, Robinson was trying his best over there, but they ran out of real estate, and as a result, Santiago couldn't make a move that would allow Robinson to come up with the good block. All he really is supposed to do is shield his player from the runner. He ran out of room.
Last 17 plays have been runs for Rick Mance, who calls all the offensive plays on the sideline for Hillsborough. He's called a great game so far. His team up 16-6 over a team in Sayreville that came in undefeated at 11-0. 2nd and 2, 29-yard line. Handoff goes forward, and this is, well, the ball came loose and stripped away. Ben Isabella had it. Isabella pulled it right out of the arms, I believe, of Stephen Hess. And it almost went for 60 the other way.
How about that? If he does that, then it's plenty of time left as it is. They're going to have just over 4:01. 4:01, just over 4 minutes, but you will not see this that frequently. Great 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort by the runner, which is what got him in trouble ultimately.
1st and 10, 46-yard line for Sayreville. And we have a timeout called by Hillsborough. So Hillsborough has turned the football over a few times, and a chance to take a look back at how Ben Isabella came up with the strip. So many times the forward progress is whistled dead, but they never said that has had his forward progress stopped.
He kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and look, he just rips it out before he goes down, and it may have touched the ground. In any event, it's in the backfield, so he can pick it up and advance it. And it gives them an opportunity here. They've got to strike, though, quickly.
Well, the quarterback saves the touchdown as Isabella gets a drink. He'll stay out there.
A 2-point miss on the conversion attempt. Looks mighty, mighty large right now.
Yes, it does, because still at 10 points, you need 2 scores to get back in the game, and there's only 4:01 to go. Isabella says that he's a great student.
Yes,
says
he is.
school really comes easy to him, and he pays attention in class and doesn't find schoolwork too hard.
Got a couple of nice, there's the schools he's applied to, Hopkins and Princeton, with a 3.86. I think he's got a shot.
I think he does too. You go to the Ivies, Patriot League, write his own ticket with grades like that. And if he keeps making plays like that, he may get a look from bigger schools. Pump fake. Hoyt wants to throw, overthrew the intended receiver. Darren Sinclair incomplete. But notice number 11 back there on defense, that's the man they're picking on. That is Malloy, because we haven't seen Phillips come back to play defense.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, the mistake that's made there by the offense, calling it when you have a definite situation where you've got to get down the field, instead of going with the long passes, you got to make sure you have people underneath so you can get 8, 10, 12 yards at a clip. Still plenty of time, 3:55. But when everybody's backing off in the defensive backfield and they're trying to keep everything in front of them, you better have something underneath that you can go to.
2nd and 10, 46. The play comes to the right. The toss, look in. Isabella makes the catch, and he's brought down inside the 40 at the 38-yard line on the tackle by Scott Robinson.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking about that time. Have somebody that will be open underneath. Run Pugh, number 7, downfield to draw the receiver, and then Isabella comes in underneath him, and he's open because the defenders, they have one thing in mind. Let's not let him get a score. Keep everything in front of us.
Under center is the quarterback. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. There is a whistle, and a flag comes out. It could be motion.
Now, left tackle jumped offensively.
That's exactly what it is. 5-yard penalty will back him up. 1st and 15.
Get ball, full start. 1st down.
The football plays back at the 43-yard line. Backs in a pro set. You never think that Sayreville would have to come back throwing the football, but that's what they're doing here. This ball is tipped and incomplete.
Boy, are they well drilled, huh? Defensively, that line. They read pass. Linebacker yells pass as he sees the quarterback drop back. Of course, they're anticipating that on every play anyway. So they're looking to either make the move or get the arms up high and knock the ball away.
That's the 3rd tip pass we've seen at the line of scrimmage today for the Hillsborough defense. George Najjar and company running out of time. 3:29 to go. 2nd and 15. Here's a toss. Complete. No, they say incomplete. In and out of the hands of Derek Pugh momentarily, not long enough to be ruled a catch.
That is a difficult play to overcome now.
That's one you need.
Had the 1st down and probably would have gotten out of bounds. Well, the clock stops in any event with the incomplete pass, but if they had made it, they wouldn't have to worry about hurrying to the line of scrimmage while they moved the chains, because they would have been out of bounds.
Isabella in motion from the pro set. Rolling to the left is Brandon Hoyt. Now throws a pass too far ahead of Darren Sinclair out of the backfield, incomplete. 3rd and 15 at the 43 coming up.
Well, Hoyt's got a lot of football ahead of him. Right now, you can bet he's focused only on this big 4th down play and the need to get 15 and more.
I said 3rd, it's 4th and 15. So it may come down to this play right here for Sayreville. If they have any chance of staying in the ball game, they need 2 scores. There's only 3 minutes and 18 seconds left. Just 2 of 4 on 4th down conversions today. From the shotgun, Hoyt takes the snap, has time, throws to Isabella, makes the catch, goes down the sideline to the 15 to the 10. The ball came loose, It is still loose. They're going to rule it out of bounds.
Yeah, the ball landed on the line, so it's out of bounds, and that's fortunate for them. But how about this? Thought it was going to be the interception and a touchdown the other way. Instead, Isabella comes up with it. Who makes this close on him? Robinson, number 7? No, it's the other guy, huh? Back in the ball game
Jared
finally.
Wagner. No, that's Jared Wagner making the play. Oh, and the ball almost stays in bounds. If it does, Hillsborough has it.
It's going to go on either way, but what a concentration move by Isabella.
On 1st and 10, here is the quarterback going to the goal line. He lost the football. Now Hillsborough says they have it. He lost the football right near the goal line, but they will touchdown anyway.
Yeah, he was in. He had the ball across the plane.
Oh, that was close.
Broken the plane. Doesn't matter if he loses it after the ball does that. So Hoyt comes up with the big play, but guess what? It's still a 4-point differential.
And it was so close when that ball came out. Did it break the plane? Was it out of halfway going in? And when you don't see the signal right away by the side judge, you really start to wonder. But Hoyt's in the end zone on the 9-yard touchdown run. It is now 16-12 with 3 minutes exactly left in the game.
I think a lot of people saw the Scarlet Knights, the drawing that's in the end zone, and thought that the bottom of the letters may have been the goal line, when in fact, he had the ball across.
So now it looks like they will line up for an extra point as Jimmy Miller comes on.
Jimmy Miller
for the point after. The placement down. The kick is on the way, and this one is good. So Miller's PAT is good. Makes the score 16-13. Sayreville still trailing Hillsborough, but with 3 minutes left, anything can happen.
Well, Hoyt has come up big so many times in this game, and yet right now what's staring him in his face is that decision he made to toss the ball away from the end zone that resulted in the safety, and the 2 points that went to Hillsborough has contributed to their 3-point lead at this juncture of the game.
Now, do you look for an onside kick here, Mike?
I sure do. Watch how quickly, though, Hoyt was able to react on that touchdown run. Just sees the opening the same way he closes and runs to daylight on the defensive side from the linebacker spot. Look at him reach across. And the ball, I don't know.
See, I thought it came out before he got to the goal line now.
He reaches in and gets a good call in any event. It's all academic whether he did or not. But there is the hold. There it is. He's crossed the plane. Now the ball comes back as he goes down. Remember, it doesn't matter if it touches. All it has to do is cross it in the air even. Any breaking of the plane at all.
Very close. And that's why you wait for that side judge to come running in with his hands up, and he didn't do it right away. The ball is at the 40-yard line. We have a game again. It was 16-0 at one point. The ball is off the tee.
Yeah, you need to kick this one if you're going for the onside kick, and get it to bounce low a few times, and then one big kick up in the air, and that's when you make the play 10 yards downfield.
Hoyt wants the football back in his hands. His defense will have to get it for him. We've already seen one bungled kickoff, though, today.
Up to going for it defensively.
This will be Hess back at the 14-yard line. Stephen Hess straight up the middle, crosses the 30. Good field position at the 32. 1st and 10, 32-yard line for Hillsborough with a 3-point lead. They need to run off 2:54 for a state title. Steve Zamborski on the sidelines, but there's a player down. That is Tony Flores, a sophomore, playing on special teams for Hillsborough.
Then he pounding the ground as if he knows that he has a significant injury, and disappointed and angry and upset. Hopefully just an overreaction by a young player.
Well, it is so difficult to play on the kickoff return team. Another look, and you'll see that at the top of the screen, Flores kind of gets rolled over right at the end of that play as somebody came down on the back of his legs. Looks like it was Darren Sinclair of Sayreville that kind of rolled up the ankles of Flores. So it looks like they will bring a stretcher on to remove Mr. Flores, who's not going to be able to get off under his own power.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew this was a significant injury himself, and Matt's very upset and concerned, obviously, for the young guy.
Well, with the injury here, a timeout. 16-13 the score for Hillsborough, leading with just 2:54 to play.
Healthy People 2010, the nation's health goals for the next decade. To achieve these goals for the next decade, we need what? People. That's right. People who are what? Yeah, right. Healthy. That's right. Healthy people. People engaged in physical activity. People immunized against infectious diseases. And those are just 2 of the 10 leading health indicators that you should know. Now, for the other 8, you call this number is.
Welcome back here to Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway. Just 2:54 standing between Hillsborough and a state championship, but Sayreville has scored 13 unanswered points. Unfortunately, the day is over for Tony Flory. He's hurt on the kickoff. Has his, I believe it's his right leg immobilized down near the ankle. And he'll be taken off.
Yep, left ankle, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, left foot.
And I think he, as I said, he was pounding the ground from the get-go, and he knew right away the possibility, thinking about a break. Well, just put a little damper on it. Actually gave Sayreville a chance to get regrouped and reorganized on the sideline, as if anybody had to tell them the urgency of what's going on here now. On the other hand, may have made Hillsborough think about it a little bit too much, and you do not want to think, you want to react.
1st and 10, 32-yard line for Hillsborough, but a 3-point lead from the wishbone, as they have been all day long. Here is Khalif Santiago crossing the 35 to the 36-yard line. Now, in the last series, you remember Hess had the football stripped from his arms. It turned into a touchdown the other way.
And a timeout quickly called by Sayreville. That will leave them with 2.
George Najar with the baseball hat out there. You say that, people ask him about going undefeated. He says the priority is just to win the championship. Nobody really cares what the record is as long as you win. Now, if you go undefeated, that's just icing on the cake. And right now, I think he wouldn't care what the score was. He's looking for that first title since 1997.
Yep, he's in danger of having neither the cake nor the icing.
This is true. Now, the last time they won a title, they went for a fake field goal to win the game. Cheerleaders haven't given up.
Exhorting their team.
And the way the Bombers have responded with 13 unanswered points here late in the game, they haven't either. 2:44 to go. 2nd and 5 at the 37. The handoff straight forward to the 39-yard line, and that is Stephen Hess, who fumbled the last time he carried the football, so a little confidence builder there. Steve Osterberg was in on the hit.
Well, it's coming down to their final one after this, so they need a big stop here. Cannot allow a first down to be made.
Well, Sayreville is kind of like on the other side of the coin, because they have usually led all year long, had their way. Holding opponents in the playoffs is just 3 points a ball game, and on the season 6.1 they're allowing, and here they've given up 16 today, and they're still trying to get that brass ring. After the run, 3rd and 3 at the 39-yard line. A first down here is crucial for Hillsborough. Sayreville fans are on their feet. They need the football back.
And they're on their feet on the far side too, knowing they'd love to keep it alive here and get a first down.
Phillips has most of the yards on the ground. Really get the carry here. Handoff goes to Santiago. He's shy of the first down by a good yard and a half.
And they'll use that timeout now and hope to get the punt and maybe get a run back, get good field position, and leave themselves with maybe over 2 minutes of offense. They'll have to do it all without timeouts, but it can be done, particularly a team that is on the precipice of losing an undefeated season.
It'll turn into a 4th and 1 at the 41. The safe bet's to punt the football away.
Absolutely. And to make sure that you get the punt off and don't get it blocked. Matt's looking around, and he's going to go into his counting act again in a minute. Ajar talking to his team, looking for the special teamers.
He's looking for Kenny Smith to join the huddle.
You don't want to make any errors here. A lot of teams will come out and they won't set. They'll come out in a up stance, and then with a count, they'll go to a set and jump down and hope to pull the other team offside, knowing how anxious they are, and maybe putting on a block where they really want to get penetration quickly.
Remember how the Dallas Cowboys used to do that shift all the time, trying to draw people off sides?
Well, they're not going to be able to do it because they all went down in their style. Look at
going for the first down. They need 1 yard to hand off. They got it. I thought they might go for it, and I'll tell you why. They were in field goal range 3 times today, and each time elected to go for the first down or the touchdown and came up short. Here they needed 1 yard, and Rick Mance went for it and got it.
I'll tell you what, they just caught Sayreville back on their heels, anticipating special teams play and looking to punt formation, and it didn't happen. And how about that? I'm not so sure if they didn't get the defense that they wanted, that they might have sat there and taken a penalty 5 yards and then punted it. But they got the defense just the way they wanted it and wound up with the first down.
Flag, maybe too much time against the offense. But Rick Mance calls for Santiago to carry the football. Turns into the first down they may write about forever. Well, it's against the defense.
Too many men?
Dead ball, illegal substitution on the defense.
12 men on the field. Remember how they were screaming and hollering and looking to get Kenny Smith, number 25, out there for the punt? Well, he didn't come back off after the first down. He wound up being the 12th man.
1st and 5. Handoff here goes to Santiago, carries forward. 1:46 to go. They need basically 1 more first down, Mike.
You do not want to be in a hurry now. Take all the time you're allowed, all the time that you're given, as Mannion finally gets pulled up and brought back to, well, not Mannion. I'm sorry.
Last 23 plays have been rushes. As they break the huddle.
I don't think that'll change, do you?
No, I don't think it'll change either. They'll keep this on the ground. 1:18 to go. 2nd and 2 at the 46-yard line. Handoff here goes to Santiago. Very close to the first down. He's got it by a mile at the 40-yard line.
Well, Hoyt didn't make the tackle that time for once, but did you see what he did do? Tried to grab and rip the ball out of the runner's hand. Didn't happen, but that's what was necessary here to try and get the football. Santiago that time, however, wrapped it up and got the first down, and now all they have to do is kneel.
59 seconds left. 16-13. Don't mishandle the football now. Steve Zamborski, the senior, takes a knee. Didn't play since injuring his shoulder against Phillipsburg. Didn't play in the playoffs until today.
Second playoff championship game I've had this year for CN8. Last night I had one with St. Joe's Prep. Came in 12-0 against Cardinal O'Hara. Cardinal O'Hara stopped that win streak. Today, come here, and Sayreville's going to see their 11-0 season wrecked by an outstanding game by Hillsborough, 16-13.
From the 39, there's another knee, and that'll do it. With 16 seconds to go, they don't have to snap the ball again. The upset complete. Hillsborough goes to 9-2 on the season. And from the Delaware Division of the Skyland Conference, Hillsborough is your Central Jersey Group 4 champ in a win over Sayreville. Rick Mance, the head coach, won a title as a player at Hillsborough in '80. Now he coaches an NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 4 champ as a head coach. 16-13 the final here at Rutgers today, and the Raiders have started their celebration.
and a well-deserved celebration. And look at this team holding their heads up high. They've had a sensational season. This team gets to do the jumping up and down because they pulled off the upset, what probably very few observers who make picks would have pointed to and said Hillsborough is going to come in here and handle Sayreville, and Sayreville will not go undefeated. Didn't happen.
It was a big first half. It was a big victory. 16-13, Hillsborough, the winner in the Central Jersey Group 4 championship game today. Stay with us, the post game around the corner right here on CN8.
We became America here. In the streets of Philadelphia, freedom was born. And in the nearby countryside, you can stand on some of America's most precious ground, Valley Forge. Here, the first in a long history of brave Americans proved their courage. So stand tall, walk proudly. You know, people say that nothing is sacred anymore. I say, come to Valley Forge. I'm Bob Dole, and that's my Philadelphia.
It's more than just a way to mow your lawn. It's a connection to 163 years of hard-earned truths passed down from the Great Plains to your backyard. It is world-class technology helping you care for your own private piece of the planet. It is John Deere Solid. And now it's yours for less than $2,000. The LT-133.
We are back here at Rutgers. Again, your final, Hillsborough over Sayreville by the count of 16-13. And right now I'm joined by Rick Mance, the head coach of the Raiders, and you knock off an undefeated team. It's got to be awfully sweet.
It sure is. We got a lot of respect for Sayreville. I mean, obviously they're an outstanding team. They ran the table coming into this ball game, and we knew it was going to be a tough contest. We felt real fortunate in the first half to dominate as much as we did, but I'm not surprised they came back and made it such a tight ball game.
And you took their running game away. They touted a lot of great backs, not much of a passing threat, but they had run on people all year long. You shut them down in the first half.
We thought we had a pretty good plan to stop what they've done most of the year, and our guys up front, I thought, came to play, especially in the first half, and we took them out of that and thought that if we got them in throwing situations, it was to our advantage, but I was second-guessing that later on, the way they threw the ball so successfully.
Also, you had great confidence in your team on a 4th and 1 with about 2 minutes to go. You go for the first down on your own side of the 50 and got it done.
It was a couple of things. Danny Phillips is our punter, and Danny being hurt right now would have put pressure on us. Obviously, Steve Szymborski, a guy that hasn't punted much, would have had to punt against the wind. We thought by being able to just get that tight formation on the ball and running for that yard, the kids really wanted to put it away right there, and obviously it worked out.
And Coach, finally, it's got to be great for you. You were a player at Hillsborough when you won a state title back in '80. Now you coach your team to a state championship.
It sure is. It's a lot more satisfying, I think, as a coach, being able to help these guys do it. I know they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives, and I'd say a lot of folks in Hillsborough are going to be real happy tonight.
Coach, congratulations on the state title.
Thank you very much.
That's Rick Mance. Now standing by with the star of the ball game is Mike Lindner.
And we'll take a look here at Dan Phillips. Early in the ball game, Dan, you got that belly play going and made the move to the outside.
Yeah, they weren't running to me well like they were supposed to, so I just made a quick move outside. Steve has picked up a good block for me, and I did what I was supposed to do.
You sure did. A junior guy's another year coming. You have 15 touchdowns this year. You got to be very, very happy with your day. 20 carries, 138 yards, and maybe no play bigger than the one that you got after Jeff Kelly tipped the ball up in the air, came up with the interception. All of a sudden, the play we were waiting to see all day long, that option play. Tell us about how that option goes and what read you had.
Well, first off, let's start with Jeff Kelly. He has 2 INTs this season, one for a touchdown, so you might as well call him a defensive end / defensive back. So that touchdown that I just scored, you know, it was a basic option play, and good blocking by Khalif, and I got into the end zone, just dove in, split 2 defenders.
Okay, don't get too excited about it now, huh?
It was a state championship we just won. You can't be more excited than this.
Okay, congratulations. Go enjoy it with the rest of the team.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. good job done here by our young man, and we see these stats right here. Pretty dominating, wasn't it, for Hillsborough, particularly rushing, 254 yards to 66, but look at the total yardage, make 305 to 173. Really a dominating performance, given that the score winds up only 16 to 13.
And you mentioned the big interception. The tip by Kelly turned into a touchdown. Turnovers were a factor in this ball game. Each team scored off a turnover today. The time of possession, as we saw on the stats, was very critical, mostly in the first half, as Hillsborough just took the game away from Sayreville.
Well, they probably had to do that. They had to come in with them and get some momentum established, show that team from Sayreville they could play with them, and they weren't worried about the fact that they were 11-0. And guess what? They're not 12-0. They're 11-1 now. Hillsborough picking up that victory now has to be very, very thrilled with this championship.
Absolutely. Hillsborough, the Central Jersey Group 4 champ, with a 16-13 win over Sayreville. Now for Mike Linder, I'm Nick Mottinghoff. Thanks for joining us this time around from Rutgers on CN8. So long, everybody.
To cover news well, you've got to know news. You got to know what the story means to a little